Ranboo is one of the newest members of the Dream SMP, yet he is already a fan favorite for his character, voice acting abilities, and his place in the lore. November 17th, 2020 was the day that he logged on for the first time, and while it was not so apparent at first, his character was slowly being folded into the main story. Obviously, this video contains spoilers. A lot of story arcs are coming to a close right now, so if you don't already watch the Dream SMP, now is a better time than ever to go get caught up. Check out my playlist in the description. The best place to begin this tale is the beginning. Ranboo enters the scene during the peaceful Reconstruction era following the Manberg-Pogtopia War. The two main choices he has in terms of loyalties are the reconstructed L'Manberg and the people on their hit list, who are less of a group and more of an assortment of war criminals. Understandably, Ranboo takes L'Manberg's side. Even before he joined the SMP, he would joke on TikTok about running for president of L'Manberg. While Tubbo shows him around on his first day of the SMP, he agrees to make Ranboo his Secretary of State if he becomes president. So it seems that Ranboo was destined to be part of the Butcher army that would go after Technoblade to execute him. But before we continue, here are a few things to know about Ranboo's character. If you have watched any of his streams, you might have noticed his aversion to eye contact and water. He also pleasantly greets Endermen as though he knows them.
It was so cool for a second. We were having such cool moments, and then... You good? Okay.
From his first day on the server, it has been no secret that Ranboo is half Enderman, and while he can't teleport, he retains a few minor traits from his Enderman lineage. While these are the most apparent ones, other traits reveal themselves as the story goes on. Keep watching till the end of the video to find out how these traits tie into his lore. Let's return to our tale. Tubbo becomes the president and, true to his word, makes Ranboo his Secretary of State. One of the first decisions made by the new administration is to hunt down the people that wronged L'Manberg without paying their due consequences. Thus, the hit list and the formation of the Butcher army. First on the chopping block is Technoblade. Anyone want pork? Ranboo is brought along with the Butcher army, though he is noticeably not quick to violence and tries to convince his friends to choose diplomacy to preserve the peace. His statements are disregarded, and the army continues to the north to confront Technoblade. They lose the 4v1 because Technoblade is Technoblade, and end up deciding to retreat and choose a new target for the time being. Ranboo later shows up to Techno's cabin with pieces of his armor in hand, much to Tommy's suspicion. Ranboo and Tommy first became acquainted by griefing George's house together. After Ranboo's short-term memory failed to recall the event even occurring in court, Tommy took all of the blame for him. This is also one of the events that prompts Ranboo to start writing down his morals and events that happened to him in books so that he doesn't forget them. To alleviate Tommy's suspicion, he states that he is only there to repay the debt that he owes from the court proceeding. In exchange for Tommy taking the fall, Ranboo gives Tommy a pickaxe and Technoblade a few of the armor pieces that were taken from him. While the Butcher army begins to instill anti-Techno propaganda around L'Manberg, Ranboo hears out Technoblade's story. He finds himself feeling sympathetic for the anarchist, who has been made the way he is because he was used over and over again by nearly every government on the server. With the seeds of doubt successfully sowed into Ranboo's mind, he returns to his people to help prepare for the Green Festival, a cover for the Butcher army to capture their next target, Dream. As Technoblade infamously said, nothing ever goes wrong at a festival. Ranboo is already tense because he has misplaced his memory book, which now contains information about his disloyalty to L'Manberg, as well as other intel on Tommy and Techno. As he desperately searches for the book, Ranboo begins to spiral, blaming himself for betraying his friends and showing kindness to Tommy and Techno when he shouldn't have. He finally returns home, still disappointed, only to find the book in a chest. Ranboo is immediately relieved before he realizes that he didn't put it there, He always keeps the book on his person. Over the next few days, Ranboo comes to the conclusion that the Green Festival is doomed for failure. The only way that Dream could be bested was if everyone on the server joined forces. Otherwise, Dream would just keep finding ways to pit people against each other. Still distressed about his book and who might have seen it, Ranboo constructs himself a panic room to organize his thoughts. However, he chooses not to write down these revelations. The day of the Green Festival arrives. Ranboo steps away from his friends to help Tommy and Techno sneak into the festival, who claim to be there solely to get Tommy's discs back from Dream. However, neither the festival nor Tommy and Techno's antics get very far because disaster has just struck. Dream has violated the no-armor laws of L'Manberg and is placing obsidian walls around the city. When confronted by other members of the server, he leads them to a destroyed community house. He pins the crime on Tommy, outs Ranboo as a traitor, and vows to destroy L'Manberg the next time he sets foot in it. Ranboo's memory book now has a smiley face etched into it, and he is no longer able to edit it. The server is in disarray. When his friends ask if what Dream said about him was true, he replies that he wants to choose friends, not sides.
I don't care about countries. You, Nikki, everyone, even Techno. I would consider Techno my friend. Phil's my friend. Tubbo's my friend. Tommy's my friend. And I'm sorry that whoever I have friends with may not correlate with whoever country you're affiliated with this week. But I care about people, okay? I don't care about countries.
He remembers some of his panic room revelations, saying that Dream would always come back and the fighting would never end. His friends are not very receptive to this. However, he sides with L'Manberg again for the sake of his friends, knowing that the efforts against the likes of Technoblade and Dream will be futile. By the way, if you're wondering why Techno and Dream are teamed up now, Tommy betrayed him for Tubbo. Techno and Dream both have the common goal of wanting to see L'Manberg burn, so they decide to be temporary allies. As everyone prepares for Doomsday, Ranboo revisits the panic room. He begins to experience delusions as he hears Dream's voice in his head. The fake Dream accuses him of being a bad person because of his treachery, and even goes as far as to suggest that he helped Tommy blow up the community house. Ranboo spirals again and blacks out. Doomsday arrives. Ranboo moves his pets out of L'Manberg and into the panic room to keep them from getting caught in the crossfire. Doomsday is less of a war and more of an attack. With Technoblade's countless withers, army of dogs, and Dream's stacks on stacks of TNT, L'Manberg stood no chance. Ranboo still blames himself for everything that happened, which nearly leads him to burn all of his memory books. Then, in a moment of personal strength, he decides against it. When L'Manberg is no more, Philza offers Ranboo a place to stay near Techno's cabin in the Arctic. As he gathers himself in his new surroundings, he finally finds a moment of peace. Later, he revisits the panic room to bring his pets to his new home. However, being in the room brings back old memories and causes him to spiral again. Fake Dream appears in his head, once again accusing him of crime. He claims that Ranboo helped Dream collect the TNT used to turn L'Manberg into a chunk error, which is proven when Ranboo digs through the wall of the panic room to discover a chest containing TNT. Ranboo's biggest frustration with himself is that he simply cannot remember a lot of the things that he has done. So when Fake Dream accuses him of doing bad things, the scariest part is that they might be true. As much as Ranboo might want to believe that he is a good person that only wants the best for his friends, he might just be backstabbing them all without knowing it. Then we get to the disc confrontation. Dream's ulterior motive of destroying everything that everyone on the server cares about in order to gain supreme power is revealed.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
In front of everyone, he reveals that he was the one that blew up the community house, much to Ranboo's confusion due to his recent delusions. After Dream is rightfully locked up, Ranboo returns home and hears Mellow High playing from somewhere. He revisits the panic room, assuming that he had accidentally left a disc in the jukebox. However, there is no disc, and the music doesn't stop, even when he breaks the jukebox. Ranboo, wondering if this is fake Dream's work, tries to speak to the voice. No response. He begins to yell when the voice doesn't respond, and in his frustration, says he refuses to be controlled by the voice any longer. A lot of things change after Ranboo begins to break free of the shackles of his own mind. He starts a new memory book and decides to visit Dream in prison. He also develops more Enderman abilities, like Silk Touch Hands and a state that he refers to as the Ender Walk. This is a sleepwalking state during which he only speaks the Ender language. Ranboo doesn't remember what he does during Ender Walks and often wakes out of them with less durability on his tools. The Ender Walk is usually triggered after periods of stress, like when he goes into the panic room. Awesome Dude, the warden, lets Ranboo into the prison. The only possession he is allowed to bring is his memory book. Upon arriving in Dream's cell, the exchange appears to be normal. Dream treats Ranboo like an old friend and thanks him for his help with protecting Tommy's disc and blowing up the community house. Ranboo, sure that Dream is just trying to manipulate him again, confronts him about lying. The situation quickly devolves when Ranboo looks inside of Dream's chest of books to find that they are all copies of Do Not Read, his true memory book. When he checks the one in his inventory, the smiley face is present again. The dream he sees in front of him isn't real, but is actually just the panic room voice. Ranboo's attempts to ground himself are unsuccessful, and he falls out of the world. Not a canon death. The stream ends with a Morse code message saying, "Not free yet." This entire trip to the prison is redacted from Ranboo's memory, which arises as an issue when Ranboo later tries to visit again for the first time. Sam knows that it's not his first time, and is unsettled by how insistent Ranboo is about never having been there before. After unsuccessful attempts to remind him of his visit, Sam asks him to leave. Ranboo is confused, but complies. Sam later confronts Ranboo with the forms that he had signed on his first visit. All of the letters had been replaced with the Ender language. Upon realizing that he must have visited during an Ender walk, Ranboo asks Sam to never let him into the prison again. Ranboo remembers that Sam brought up the memory book that he had supposedly brought in during his visit, and comes to the conclusion that there must be a fourth memory book. This book could contain sensitive information about things that Enderwalk Ranboo does. Worried about the book ending up in the wrong hands and Ranboo incriminating himself, he hunts around the server for it, but eventually moves on for the time being. Sapnap, one of Dream's closest friends, visits him in prison and returns with a message for Ranboo. This immediately sends him into an Enderwalk. When Technoblade visits the egg with Bad Boy Halo, Ranboo secretly follows closely behind. Once discovered, Bad traps him with the egg. We don't know what it said to him, but Ranboo is clearly shaken up over it. Later, he revisits the egg and tries to destroy it after it speaks to him. It is implied that it calls him a traitor, amongst other things. While attempting to break the egg's blocks, Ranboo takes significant damage, even though he is in full netherite armor. So he places the blocks back and vows to bring an end to its reign. He recuperates at his house, but the egg has clearly had an impact on him. It has begun to influence him. He creates a plan to become a mediator in every group on the server in order to bring people together and create peace. Instead of allowing himself to be used or not being involved at all, he decides he wants to have more of a backbone. Given his background of being walked on by people that crave power on the server, I am personally not sure how successful this will be. For now, that is where the story comes to a standstill. And I realized I forgot to record the outro to this video, so here I am. Thank you to Dream Team Wiki for being the biggest source for this video. A lot of lore has been happening lately, so I kept having to update the script These scripts also take a long time to write in general, and the videos are a lot of hard work to put together, so I would really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe to my channel. I want this video to be part of a series where I sit down and explain the Dream SMP lore, so comment down below if there is someone that you want me to cover next. And also, if you want to watch like this video but shorter, check out my friend Ash's video. He makes very like short form Dream SMP content, and I think it's really cool. And with that being said, I will reiterate, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to catch these videos as they drop. Thank you for almost 300 subscribers. Like, that is absolutely crazy. I'm really excited to keep creating content for you guys. Have a good day.